The traditional image of masculinity has been under attack for quite some time now. It's like everywhere you look these days, it's toxic masculinity, misogyny, sexism. Hell, just being a man breathing some oxygen on planet Earth is regarded as toxic by some people.
You think men are important? Like for what?
But what if I told you that the problem isn't so much masculinity itself, but rather the way it's been portrayed in modern society and in the mainstream media? In this video, I want to provide you 5 reasons why I believe masculinity is more essential today than it was ever before. Welcome to my channel, guys. My name is Hisham, and on this channel I discuss everything related to productivity, mindset, and fitness, as well as dating and relationships. Now, before I dive into the subject, let me give a very small disclaimer because, everybody is so sensitive and so easily offended. I'm not trying to create a rift between men and women. If anything, I'm trying to build a bridge because I think men and women need each other, and I think that the values are just upside down, and I want to just go back a little bit to the basics and provide you with alternative perspectives. Having said that, let's immediately dive into the subject. Reason number 1 why I believe masculinity is more essential today than it was before, it's because positive masculinity provides strong and stable leadership. I mean, look around you. The world is a mess, and if there's one thing we can all agree upon is we need strong leadership today. The world is infinitely complex, everything is ever evolving, ever changing, and it's just very difficult to find the people that we can actually look up to find the right leaders. Now, the last thing that I'm going to claim is that women cannot be good leaders, because I think it's quite the opposite. However, when I do think of strong leadership, I think of masculine traits such as decisiveness, resilience, and determination. Now, obviously, women can embody these traits as well, but it's generally speaking men that have these qualities because it's just in their natural biology. And the result is that a strong masculine leader can create the necessary stability and guidance to help navigate people through uncertain times. And if there is one thing we can all agree upon right now, it's we are living in uncertain times. So strong leadership. And strong leadership means that as a man, you have the ability to take on responsibility. If anything, if you were to ask me, if I were to translate masculinity in one word, it's probably responsibility. The ability to carry the weight of yourself, to carry the weight of the people around you, and if you have greater ambitions, to carry the weight of a nation. Reason number 2, masculinity is essential for healthy relationships. And whether that is intimate relationships, same-sex relationships, relationships between colleagues and peers, and just men amongst each other, masculinity has its foundation in integrity, in discipline, in stoicism. In a time and age in which everybody's just telling you to feel whatever you feel like and act upon your feelings, I'm telling you quite the opposite. I'm telling you that you should practice stoicism, that you should learn to control your emotions, to be calm, and to have a sense of control over your own actions. And the best way you can do that is to kind of look at your situation and look at yourself at a third-person perspective. It's kind of something is going on, a situation is occurring, and instead of immediately react upon it, step out of the situation, observe it with a neutral perspective as much as you can be, neutral. Look for the best course of action. Look at the most effective and most efficient strategy that you can put out. The third reason why I think masculinity is more vital today is because masculine energy contributes to innovation, contributes to progress. From the ancient pyramids to the iPhone you're holding in your hands right now, 99.999% of that is a result of masculine energy. Most of the civilization was built on the back of men, right? And so that is not to say, again, that we don't need women, because all of that would be useless if we wouldn't have women. But if you look at just how the masculine mind, how the masculine biology and framework works, is we just want to go from A to B. We want to look for ways to build new things, create new things, and just progress as a human being and as a civilization, right? Whether it's the invention of a light bulb, the new Tesla, your television, iPhone model, whatever it's next, everything that we do as men is to look for ways to progress civilization and to make the world a better place. Reason number 4, masculinity provides a sense of purpose and meaning. Again, for many men, embracing positive masculine traits such as courage, responsibility, discipline, honor, they can all provide a sense of purpose and meaning in life. right? And so this is essential for mental and emotional well-being and can also inspire other people and also other women to lead a life of fulfillment instead of just going after the next hit, the next dopamine hit, like the next impulse, right? And again, that's why I believe that being grounded as a man and practicing stoicism, it's so extremely important, because the alternative is that you will just act upon randomly on your impulses and do whatever you feel like, quote unquote, right? And so understanding that as a man, it is your responsibility to remain calm and to rather, if chase is the right word, I'm going to use the word chase, but instead of chasing happiness, chase meaning. Because a man cannot derive happiness from going after it. The only way that we can derive happiness as men is by going after meaning, and then happiness is kind of like the result of that. It's the side effect. So again, I do believe that to have a sense of meaning, have a sense of groundedness, we have to look at traits such as, having the ability to be courageous, meaning not being afraid to go against the grain, meaning being able to speak the truth, speaking up your mind. And this is something that I had to learn as well, because I remember very vividly, even when it came to just talking about this specific subject of polarity, I subconsciously was still concerned about how the world would perceive me, how they would judge me, the comments that would be written underneath my posts or whatever, because I knew it was a sensitive subject. I knew that I was going against the grain and I was speaking up my mind on a subject that most people would probably disagree with in 2023. Making that decision to still speak from my heart, speak from my mind, and just say what I actually have to say increased my confidence as a man exponentially, because I just feel so much more confident with my own words and with my own thoughts, right? I rely more on myself than on the external validation. The fifth and final reason why I think masculinity is so extremely important is because it can help combat negative stereotypes and, quite frankly, what you would regard as toxic masculinity. I don't think the problem we have today is toxic masculinity. I think if masculinity is toxic, it is because of the lack of masculinity, right? It's not so much the presence that makes it toxic, it's the absence. And so by embracing these positive masculine traits that I was just talking about, men can really help combat negative stereotypes and toxic masculinity that, most people would associate with violence, aggression, and other harmful behaviors. Think about it. It is not the man who is stoic who's going to look for ways to be aggressive. It is the men who act upon their feelings and have no sense of self-discipline and no level of responsibility that act upon their feelings, right? If you are a man who has a lot of responsibility, then you're going to think twice before you're going to be aggressive or violent, because, there's consequences to your actions. There's things that are worthy of having that you can lose, right? And so I think that when it comes to this subject, we very often have it all backwards. We think that being a man is toxic, but it's actually reverted. It is not being a man, but being a male in your biology that makes it toxic, right? I think that's one of the main reasons why so many people today are just confused. Hey, are you a man or are you a woman? What is a woman? Like the fact that in 2023, we have to go around and ask people, what is a man? Like, what is a woman? And people lack the ability to just come up with a simple answer, kind of like is mind-blowing in and of itself, and is also a testament to the times that we're living in, right? So these are the 5 reasons why I believe, masculinity is so vital. It's so extremely important. So if you're a guy, especially if you're a man right now, I need you to think about this. Like, how are you applying this in your day-to-day life? How are you seeing this? How are you dealing with the situation? Because it is affecting regardless, because you can almost not escape it. If you're a man watching and you live in modern society in the West, USA, Europe, Canada, you know what it feels like to be having these kinds of conversations about, toxic masculinity, etc. So what I would implore you to do is to kind of like figure out how you already taking on responsibility. Maybe it's enough, maybe it's not enough, like only you can decide it for yourself. But if you feel like you're lacking meaning, you're lacking purpose, and you just overall don't feel a sense of gratitude, then that is basically your answer. Then you know that you probably should be doing more, because I genuinely believe that the lack of fulfillment for most men is because they're just not doing enough of what they're supposed to be doing, which is taking on responsibility and looking for ways to progress. Like Tony Robbins once said, progress equals happiness. In conclusion, masculinity definitely plays a vital role in modern society in numerous ways. It has the potential to bring about positive change and transformation, but I think it's definitely important to redefine what, healthy masculinity actually looks like, because again, so many people have the word upside down. And I think that by embracing healthy and positive aspects of masculinity, we can create a better and more equitable world, not just for men, but for everybody. Again, it goes back to what I was saying about taking on that responsibility. Because if I, as a man, am doing well, then everyone around me will also benefit from that, including, my potential partner, kids, mom, like everybody benefits from that, right? So let's work together to create a world where all individuals, male, female, I don't care, like I genuinely don't care about gender, who you identify as. I just want everybody to live their fullest and most fulfilling life and reach their full potential. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and see you on the next one.